Hello, I'm here again. So now ako explain kay ang module 2. So that is interpersonal communication. Okay, so now let's go to the next page. Module 2. So naagi hapon siya ay proverb. Sa komunikasyon, mahalaga ang unang impresyon. The first impression you give is important in communication. So, unsa may inyuhang mahibaw-an ani na module na adiri sa objectives. By the end of the module, participants will identify and demonstrate nonverbal communication, listen actively and speak appropriately, identify and practice good customer service skills. Okay, so nana dila mga activities. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so let's go here sa key topics and learning points. Nonverbal communication, effective speaking skills and strategies, effective listening skills and strategies. So, muna siya. Muna siya ang mode sa communication na sender, na ay message, receiver, ang feedback. So, kung nakay kasturya, di ba, mahatag silag message sa imuha. Ikaw ang na-sender, mahatag message sa imuha, ikay mo receive. So, dapat nakainindot na listening skills, maminaw ka sa ilag tarong, kay para kabaw sa kaun sa imuhang itubag. Kay kung pataka ra kag paminaw or baka kadungog tarong, di dyan mo makasinabot, di ba? Okay, so na diri non-verbal communication. So affects how people perceive or understand each other. So for example, eye contact, looking down, kanay mo mga facial expressions, manay non-verbal communication. Ha? Kanang mo kwalit lag tuyok ang imong mata. So lain kay tan-aw sa imong kasturya. Okay? So arita diri sa activity 1. So mag-answer mo diri ha ang sira ni na part. Activity 1, introductory activity and learner's reflection. Okay? Way mangutana ha kung ansiran ba ang objectives, dili na siya appeal sa ansiran. Diri ta mag-start kaning ni mga blanks. Okay? So welcome to module 2, which is about interpersonal communication. Before we proceed to this module, let us have a review of the previous module, which write 5 ideas that you can recall about the types of important values and skills, how to set and reach goals, and different ways people learn. Okay, naana siya sa module 1. So, review na siya. Unsa inyo nakatunan sa module 1? I-answer diha. Next. Read the proverb at the beginning of the module and answer the questions. The first impression you give is important in communication. Okay? Sa komunikasyon, mahalaga ang unang impresyon. Mo si proverb ganina, pareha na siya sa module 1. So, inyo sa i-explain sa inyong nasabtan diha. Next, in your own words, how do you relate this proverb to yourself? Unsaon na nimo pag-connect sa imong kaugalingon? Can you recall your first impression situation with someone else? Nakahinumdum ba ka sa imong first impression pagkita nimo or pag ila-ila nimo sa ubang tao? Do you think the way you talk with your listeners is important? Why? Importante ba giunsa ninyo pagstorya sa inyuhang mga kastorya? Importante ba siya? Nganong importante? O inyo nang isuwat diha. This module will focus on communication skills at work. What do you think is the relevance between the proverb and the importance of communication skills at work? How does it relate to real-life situation? Unsa ko'y connection sa proverb sa inyong communication skill? Unsa ilang connection? Then, unsay kuan niya gamit kung magtrabaho na ka? Okay? Then, marelate ba nimo siya sa imuhang real life situation? So, unsay nahitabo sa imuha kung na naka sa work? Okay, next. I hear you, but I'm not listening. Ask your mother, father, brother, or your friend if they have experienced a situation where they are talking to someone who seem to be listening to them, but when they ask if they understood what they are saying, it turns out that they are not listening. How did you feel about it? Is this good or bad thing to do? Why? Nakadungog, pero what day na minaw? Lahi ba ng listening o hear? Ang hear nakadungog ra, kibalik clap o kadungog ka ana, pero wala ka kasabot. Listening is nakadungog ka with understanding. Imong gisabot kung unsay gisulti sa ubang tao o ansiri na sad na part. Sunod. Now it is time to write your thoughts on the following questions in the space below. O inyuha sa ning kopyahon ha, then inyo sa ansiran. So example lang sa number 1, what does it mean to listen or speak effectively? O unsa man imuhang answer diha? Unsa kunoy meaning anang mo maminaw ug mo storya na klaro or imuhang tarungon ug pagpaminaw ug pagtabi. Mo ni opinion ra nimo ang naa diri ha. Sunod, how do you know when you are not being listened to or ignored? So, yung pagkabaw na, wa di ka tagda, wa ka paminawa. What do you do when speaking to get your point across? Unsaon nimo, unsay buhaton nimo kay para kung unsay imong gisulti kay nasabtan jud. So, how do you speak to an elder, supervisor, friend, group of people? Unsaon na nimo pagtabi sa ilaha? Magtarong ba kag storya, magbinugoy, unsa man. Why is good or effective communication important in your personal or work lives? Ngano importante jud nanindot na maayo ka makigstorya sa imuhang isigataw, sa inyuha or sa imuhang trabahoan. Okay. Sharing is caring. Sharing ni siya about ani na part. So, di man ta maka-share. So, skip lang na. Let's go to Learner's Reflection Module 2. Okay. So, parihan ni siya sa Module 1. Mga things na imuhang na-experience. Then, pili ra ka ha. Dili ni mo checkan ang 1, 2, 3, 4. Pili ra jud kag usa sa usa ka linya. So, for example, using a variety of strategies to listen carefully to others. Paggamit ng iba't ibang estratehiya para makinig ng mabuti sa iba. Unsa man, naka-experience, wala ka experience ana, naa kay gamay experience ana, mayroon kang karanasan, or madaghan kag karanasan. Pili ra ka anang 1, 2, 3, 4. Di kay check ka na tanan ha. So, usa ka diri, usa ra ka box ang checkan. Okay, next one. Arita sa activity 2, non-verbal communication. Okay, so atong basahan na do this. Tell a family member how you feel or what you think or what you want without talking. Okay, suway lang. Dili man mikita, pero dili na siya isuwat sa inyong ansiranan ha. Suway lang. Magigstorya ka sa imuhang family member, pero naong ra imong gipalihok. Walay istorya, tanawon silang reaction. Think of some words to describe your family member's reaction and note them down. Ang katong action, may kibaw ato. So, ayaw lang to siya, buhaton na to siya. Pero kaning think of some words to describe your family. Unsa may lang reaction pag kita nila nimo. Are they angry, sad, or gi-ignore ka? Then tell your family member that you just showed an example of non-verbal communication. Okay, so ako na nang gi-explain ganina. Ang non-verbal mo ni siyang mga naunga. Okay? Focus, happiness. Unsa na siya? So, dili kina ako makita kay gagmay. Okay, so these are different expressions. So, makita ra na ninyo sa inyong module. Maklaro ra na siya. So, ang akong slide, dili kay siya klaro. So, anyway, mo na siya non-verbal. Kanang naong ra nimo imong gipakita para kulatan ka. Ano? Or nikatawa ka, ni-smile ka. O, nasad ka, nadaot imong naong. Nasuko ka. Pero wa man ninyo nakita akong naong, so akong tingog akong giusab. Pero kung nakita ninyo, nag-usab-usab akong naong. Okay, next one. Okay, think about it. This section encourages you to express your opinion. Opinion ra ninyo ha? To the family and friends about nonverbal communication. Start a discussion with them face to face, via text, chat, or whatever means available and comfortable for you. It's always great to share your ideas and hear more points of view. Okay. So, why do you think nonverbal communication is important when giving information or when listening to someone? Ngano importante kuno ang imuhang naong facial expression nimo kung makigstorya kag tao. Opinion ra na. Okay, so what ang imuhang opinion? Number 2, why is knowing and recognizing nonverbal communication important in the workplace? Kung magtrabaho ka, nganong dapat manimutan ang now sa imong customer, sa imong boss, imong isuwat. Okay, now let's go to activity 3. Effective listening. Okay, effective listening, tarong na pagpaminaw. Okay. So we have here a story. So inyuhan ang basahon, tapos ansira ninyo na part kana tanan. Inyo na ansira din na nako kanang usa-usahon. Pero inyong basahon, then inyuhang ansira na part. Next, effective listening organization or observation checklist. Kani inyuha sa ning kopyahon, then checkan kung yes or no. Okay? So, let's apply, ask your family members, home companions, or friends to do a role play with you. Magdrama mo sa inyo ha. Pwede ninyo i-apply, balag wala mikita. Ha? Basa-basahon lang yun ninyo diri ha. Then inyo sa nang buhaton, kay wala man yun mi diha sa inyo ha tupad. Okay, next one. The following guide questions may help you with your discussion. So, what did you feel like to be in a conversation when you failed to understand something that the other person is trying to say? O inyo nang tubagan niya. What did you observe about our body languages while talking to each other? Kani siya, answer niyo based sa inyong na experience, ha? Okay, so kaning sharing is caring, dili na lang sa taani kay we cannot do that. So let's go to activity 4, effective speaking. Okay, identify effective speaking skills and strategies. Get any object nearest you or a blank sheet of paper and draw something that comes to mind first. Look at your family member in 2 minutes, describe the object you choose or the picture you draw. Your task is clearly convey the importance of objects or drawing in your daily life. Convince the listeners of its importance. Keep checking to see his or her interest in the objects and adjust your approach accordingly. Okay, so mag-game mo gamay. Okay, so reflect on the experience using the question below. So what lesson or lessons did you get from the activity above? So, kung inyo ning gisuwayan, inyo ning ansiran ang reflection 1 to 8. Ha? Suway-suway lang gud ninyo buhat sa balay. Then, inyo hadayong ansiran. Ha? Sunod. Effective speaking skills, mora ni siya. Unsa inyong makuha kung na may effective listening skills, be clear, concise, to the point. Okay, so use examples to get to the point. Be polite and friendly. Kung magtabi, dili kay kuan isug-isug dayon, then be polite. Marespeto sa ibang tao. Be honest, dili magsigig pamakak kay makakos gina siya og problem. Be respectful, kibali maista imong kasturya, respect. Ha, dili na ninyo friends or mga boss ninyo inyong tarong og storya. Mas maguwang ninyo inyong parents tarong og storya. When you need to be direct, speak with respect. Speak with confidence but not with arrogance. Be flexible, check the mood and attitudes of others and adjust accordingly. Di kay ikaw rin magsaba-saba, imong tan-awon ang imuhang nasa palibot kung nangatawa ba sila or wa, or ikaw rin nalipay sa imong istorya. Diba? So be aware of body language your own and that of others. So, imo sa sila tanaw, kung nalipay pa ba sila sa imong gisulti or wala, or nasuko na sila. Kay basig makakos na siya away. Ha? Now, let's exercise. Read the statements one by one and put a check if the statement is about effective speaking, and if not, X. Okay, so ansira na siyang let's exercise ha. Let's apply. Go back to your object or drawing. Improve your description of the object or drawing. After writing, face a mirror and practice speaking about yourself or call a family member. Okay, so kani siya ay na lang ni siya apila kay magstorya man mo sa mirror, di man gyapon kita. Okay, kana sad ay na lang sad na siya. So ato tas activity 5, choosing a form of communication. Okay, so nowadays there are many different ways of communicating. You may choose to write an email, send an instant message, a text message, make a phone call, or write a formal letter. This activity will help you understand the different types of communication used in the workplace so that you can choose the right form depending on your needs. Write down some examples of the 3 main ways of communicating at work. Oh, imong isuwat kung unsay imuhang way sa pagstorya sa work. Okay? So, dira verbal, na written, na electronic. Electronic phone ba siya? Computer? Ano? Written, na ba mo'y letter? Verbal, na ba mo'y unsay isulti sa usag-usa? Ano? Ha? Ansiri na. 2.3. 3 forms of workplace communication, part 1. Okay, so look at the table below and decide whether each form of communication is verbal, written, or electronic. Please check your answer. O kanang face-to-face conversation, unsa na siya verbal, written, electronic. Imuhang check kan, pili ka diha. Kibali phone, verbal na siya, written, electronic. Imo sa na siya check kan, ha? Na kopyahon sa ninyo yung table, then checkan. Next, select what you think are the top 10 most used forms of communication at work and give an example of when you may choose to use it in the workplace. Okay. So, magpili ka sa 10 most used. Pwede ra ka mo pili sa dere. Sa table. Ha? Then, inyo isuwat diha. Next, 2.3, 3 forms of workplace communication, part 2. Remember, once you know what you're trying to communicate, you need to select the best form of communication for your message. The method you choose can make a big difference in how effectively you communicate your message. So, kuha na siya. Reminder. So, choose verbal ba, written, electronic. Okay? Next. Oh. Asa naman ta? Okay. Nawag tang. Sorry. Let's exercise. Imagine the results for the following scenarios. Write down adjectives to describe the feelings of your colleagues and draw their related faces besides the adjectives. For example, happy. So may noun sa happy. Okay? For example, number 1, you want to solve a problem or make a decision. You sent a long email to your colleague. So, unsa man ang imuhang adjective ana. Adjectives are words that describe happy, sad, surprise. Muna isuwat diha. Depende sa sentence. So, kaya number 2, your message is simple, but you're physically separated. You requested for a conference call. Unsa may adjective ana, unsay reaction ana, ansiran sana. Okay. 2.3, 3 forms of workplace communications. Instructions for each type of communication. There are 2 examples on how and when to use that form of communication. Write 3 examples of each form. So, naa na example diha ha, bantay mangutana pagyapon ha, inyo ra na dugangan og 3 examples more. For example, sa verbal, you can call a coworker to see if they can come for help to solve a problem. Okay, so imo sad na kuan diha. Verbal communication. Written, to write a letter inviting people to an event. Pwede ka musuwat dira o unsa man something na musuwat na mo-communicate sa imuhang mga katrabaho. Electronic sad lahi. Okay? Nanay examples diha ha. So inyo ra na dugangan. Next. Okay. Kanang nay mangutana usahay na gihapoy mangutana about sa kaning session how writing space. Munang nana siya writing space. Kay kanina module, mura man siya imuhang notebook. Pero kamo nag-answer na mo daan sa notebook or paper. So dili na mo magsuwat diri or di na mo answer diri sa writing space. Ha? At ito sa session 2, cooperating with others. So, nang cooperating with others, magtinabangay sa usag-usa. Cooperate. So, tabang jud. So, objectives diha, assess how you tend to work in groups, recognize that different personalities and approaches affect how a group performs and roles and responsibilities. Magsinabtanay ang magkauban, kay magkauban sila. Ha? Okay, diri ta mag-start sa picture. Okay, so look at the picture and imagine that you're observing workers and their supervisor building a house. Write your observations following the questions below. What do you see in the picture? Tanawain nyo rin i-describe ang picture. So, do the workers take on different roles? Na ba sila ang gibuhat-buhat? Unsa man? Do you think the task of building a house is easy to accomplish? Sayon na ba magtukod og balay? Why or why not? Does the task of building the house become easier if the workers do their own task well? Why or why not? Gibuhat ba sana does the task building the house become easier? Masayon ba ang magtukod og balay kung gitarong sa usa ka trabahador iyahang buluhaton? Next, describe the role communication plays in the worker's ability to successfully build a house. Unsa may role sa communication kung sa nagtrabaho ba? Ano importante na magstoryaanay ang magtrabahador? Imo describe. Okay? Next, think about yourself when working in a group. Do you perform task well? Why or why not? How do you describe yourself working in a group? Mag-imagine ka, kung nakay ka grupo, then amoy project, tanaw nimo makatabang ba ka? Why or why not? Dayon, how do you describe yourself working in a group? Okay ba ka na nakay ka grupo or ganahan lang ka na ikaw sa in doing a project, ha? Okay, next. Complete the table below. So, imuha ni ansiran sa na part, the list and checking 3 boxes that best describe how you work in group. So, stay quiet for some time and join in. Tuman, pili ka diha. Feel easy. Unsa man ang imuhang kanang sa imuhang personality. Baha, check ka na. Apil na. Next, let's go to activity 7. Okay, so look at the picture below. Muna ang picture. In a basketball game, there is usually a winning team and a non-winning team. Describe a winner team and non-winner team. Also describe the characteristics of an individual team member of the winning as well as those of the non-winning team. Add the description of the examples below. So, nana na siya example below. Diri, tanawa, the team has a game plan. Unsa may dapat buhaton sa team? Sa non-winner, o sila sa gym, nang wala sila na daog. Kani, individual member listens to the coach. Kani, kay relies on himself alone. So, inyo nang dugangan diha sa ubos ha, dugangan. Inyo sa ansira na table. Next, teamwork is important and cooperative team members are needed to achieve their goal. So, mas nindot jud kung magtinabangay. Okay? So, we have here some bubbles sa inyong basahon. Nagstorya na sila. So, answer the question. Write down your own short statement in the thought bubble. Okay, so inyo sa nang ansiran na part. Okay? Now, let's go to the next one. Okay, so kanina part, ansiran sa ni siya ha. Kana, di na ko i-explain og kuan. Next one, elements of an effective and cooperative team member. Unsa man, imusan ni isuwat diri. Unsa man ka effective na team member, I'm good at, I can improve on, kaning I can improve on, imo pang i-improve. Ang good at, pali, maayo ka mo sunod sa imuhang leader. Pero inyuha lang itagalog or in English ha, di ko musugot og Bisayang answer. Okay, next. Ato ta sa session 3, customer care. Okay, customer care kabaw na mo. So, kung manarbaho mo, dayon nagkuan mo, nag-service ang inyong work. So, naamoy customer care. Okay? Next, ato ta sa activity 8, giving exceptional customer service. Okay, so inyo ning basahon kani na conversation, and then after the role play, take turns in sharing answers to the following questions. Di na mo mag-take turns. Inyo lang ansiran dito. Kay wala naman mo ka-role play na. Okay? So, what is the topic of the role play? What is the story all about? Inyo na ansiran. And then, kani, what is a customer? Inyo ansiran sad. Okay? Kani sad. Woman mo partner, inyo na ansiran dayon ha. What is important to you when you go out to a restaurant? So, importante ni mo. Or shop in a department store. So, importante. Huh? And then, giving exceptional customer service. Read the handout below. Based on the experience of customer in a place and business, providing customer service as a worker of a store, restaurant, etc. Check the boxes of customer service practices which you have done or encountered in making the customer feel welcome, understood, important, and comfortable. Share the list of those practices with your partner. How? Sharing your na. So, wala na siya appeal. And then, okay, kanara siya kay notes na siya. So, let's go. Okay. Dirita sa think about it. The following guide questions may help you in making your discussion lively and engaging. To show, you should take notes on their responses to each question as they go through sharing their answers. You may write them alongside the questions or on the space provided above. So, for example, number 1, what will happen if the customers don't feel welcome? So, may feel sa customer kung what, feeling niya dili siya welcome. Kanisad, B, understood. Feeling sa customer, wala siya nasabti. Unsa man iyang ma-feel? Kani, important. Customer feel important. Feeling niya, dili siya importante. Unsa may ma-feel niya? Comfortable. Comfortable or comfortable. So, dili siya comfortable. Unsa may ma-feel sa customer. Okay, number 2, what benefits can a business have if a worker or customer service provider? So, imusad na siyang ansiran. Okay? Next. Okay, wala na sharing is caring. Number 9. So, objectives, I won't say na, kani ansiran ni Jitsu. And then, let's go to think about it. So, try to discuss the questions below with those who participated in the activity. If some of your family members or friends cannot join you for the sharing, it's okay as long as you have at least one person whom you can discuss your answers with. Okay. So, kana siya sharing. What did you observe about how the message traveled? Okay. So, inyo ni siyang buhaton, pwede ra sa imong mga ka-family member, then imo ra ni siya answer, what did you observe? Kung giunsa pag-travel sa storya, sa message, natarong ba niyag sabot or wala? Ha? So, ansira na siya 1 to 4. And then, okay, let's apply. In one of or two sentences, how can you avoid your customers from bad-mouthing your product or service offered in the market? What do you think is the best way to provide your customer service? Oh, opinion ra na ninyo diha, ansiran sa na ninyo. And then sa 10, observing communication in the workplace. Ansiran sa gihapon na siyang dapita. Okay, also in 2.7, observing communication workplaces, inyuhan ni ansiran. Oh, wait a minute. Observing communication in a workplace. Actually, murag dili ta kabuhat ani kay if there are safety restrictions sa workplace, lisod kaayo. Safe distance ta. Okay? So, dili pa man ta ka-observe karon kay especially ang uban sa inyo ha, dili pa kagawas, di pa ka-observe. So, di na lang sa ni nato pa ansiran ha. Dili ni ansiran ang 2.7 kay di man mo ka-observe. Kanang ang uban di pa sad kagawas para fair na lang sa tanan. So, di na lang sa nato na ansiran ang 2.7 ha. Okay, next kani. What form of communication did you see? Continuation na siya. Okay. Sa inyohan na lang opinion kani siya. What form of communication sa inyong nakit-an sa una. Okay? Itong dili sa 2.7 ha, di na to siya ansiran. Sa kanira na part, sa inyong observation, kanang manuroy mo sa una, mo gawas mo, unsa may tan-aw ninyo sa communication nila. Unsa man pag-communicate sa staff sa usag-usa. Sa customer, unsa nila pag-communicate, describe a good customer service, bad customer service, ha? Sa inyo harang opinion, sa inyo nakit-an before, kanira ang siri, ha? Module 2, application. So, reflect on what you have learned from Module 2. Jot down your answers to the questions. So, kani siya. Inyo na ansiran sad. Okay? Next. Arita sa... Okay. Katuron na part. Dayon. Kani, Module 2. So, inyo hasan ni ansiran na part. And then, kani. Same ra sa Module 1 na ay English or Tagalog parihara na sila. Ha? Kung manag-nosebleed sa module, please, ayaw stress out inyong kaugalingon, pahuway ka diyot, then answer na sad. You have 7 days to answer, kay 1 week ba ni nato ipaansiran ha, ang usa ka module, 7 days. Dili lang ma-stress dayon, kung nilaban ang ulo, pahuway, then balik. Dili kay gisiun ang module or ilabay ang module, parihaan ang nasa Facebook ha, or nay naghikog kay na stress sa module ha. Okay, so anyway,